Become the person no one believes you can be. David Goggins. Nobody believed in you. And that's exactly why you need to keep going. You think they're going to clap for your effort? They won't. They'll doubt you, laugh at you, and wait for you to quit, just like everyone else. But it's in that silence, in that emptiness, where you build something no one else can understand. While they talk, you work. While they sleep, you become. This is the moment you stop asking for validation and start proving day after day that they were wrong. Stop chasing approval. Chase respect. And respect comes from what you do when no one is watching. Pain is the birthplace of power. Everyone wants to be strong until they taste real pain. That's when most people run. But you're not here to be most people. Pain tests you. It asks, do you really want this? And every time you endure a little more, you answer, yes. That's how the body changes, how the mind hardens, how the soul grows scars that glow in the dark. People want results, but they reject the process. They want respect, but can't stand being ignored. They want freedom, but lack discipline. That's why only a few ever make it. You have to learn to love discomfort, not because it feels good, but because it's fair. Pain doesn't lie. It shows exactly who you are. It reveals whether your strength is real or just for show. When you feel like you can't take another step, that's where transformation begins. You think you've given everything. You haven't. You've only scratched the surface of what you're capable of. There's a reservoir inside you. Strength you've never used, courage you've never tested, fire you've never unleashed. And the world will try to convince you you're going too far, that it's crazy to keep going. But hear this. Mediocrity is the norm, and you were born to be the exception. So the next time pain shows up, don't run. Embrace it. Look it in the eyes and say, is that all you've got? Because that's the moment when the impossible starts to bend for the one who refuses to quit. If this message hits something deep inside you, it's because you know there's more within you. Follow the shifted self now. Not just for motivation, but to remember who you were always meant to become. Because this path isn't about being perfect. It's about never being weak again. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. Read that again. No one. You can wait for help, motivation, or a push, but they're not coming. And the moment you finally understand that, you're free. Because every time you wait for someone to rescue you, you give away control of your life. You become a hostage to fear, weakness, and excuses. The truth is, the world doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to your actions, not your promises. And while you're waiting for the perfect time, someone out there is bleeding, sweating, and growing in silence. You want to change? Then stop looking for shortcuts. There's no app for discipline. There's no course for courage. You have to become the kind of person who does what needs to be done, even when no one's watching, even when no one claps. People will call you obsessed. They'll say you've changed, but what they really mean is, you're reminding me of what I could be if I stopped making excuses. Strength isn't about muscles, and it's about character. It's doing the hard thing every day until it becomes who you are. It's waking up tired and getting up anyway, failing 100 times and trying again, choosing the pain of growth over the comfort of mediocrity. Yes, you're alone, but alone is where truth lives. It's where you hear that voice inside, the one you keep trying to silence, saying, I know what you're capable of. So stop lying to yourself. Stop waiting for someone to show up. Stop waiting to feel ready. No one's coming. But the good news is you don't need anyone. Everything you need is already inside you, locked behind your excuses. People talk about strength like it's a gift, but strength isn't given. It's forged. In silence. In solitude. In the dark. You want respect? Then stop looking for it in other people's words. Build a version of yourself that can't be ignored. And that only happens when you accept pain as part of the process. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. But it's cold, it's lonely, it's hard, and that's why almost no one crosses it. They want the reward, but not the sacrifice. They want the title, but not the price. You need to get used to walking alone, training when you're tired, studying when no one's watching, doing what's right even when there's no applause. That's the kind of consistency that kills doubt. What you do in the dark is what prepares you to shine in the light. Because what's forged in fire never returns the same. Every drop of sweat, every sleepless night, every failure you faced, all of it is shaping your new version. A version that doesn't complain, that doesn't wait, that acts, and yes, it's going to hurt. You'll get tired. You'll think nothing is changing. But steel was just metal until fire transformed it. And you are just another person until you decide to endure the heat of transformation. So don't run from the dark. That's where you become dangerous. That's where you become disciplined. That's where you become someone no one recognizes, but everyone respects. Everything you think is weakness is actually an opportunity. Every scar, every fall, every unshed tear, every day you felt small, all of it can be turned into power. The world wants you to feel weak. It wants you to look at obstacles and think, I can't. But every moment you feel at your limit is the exact moment you can flip the script. Look at your pain. Look at your fear. Look at your failures. Don't run from them. Use them. They are fuel. They are maps showing exactly where you need to work, where you need to grow, where you need to surpass yourself. There is no strength without suffering, no courage without fear, no victory without struggle. And the secret isn't avoiding failure, it's learning to dance with it. Weakness only becomes a weapon when you refuse to run, when you decide to face everything that broke you and use it to rebuild yourself. You want to become someone no one believes in? Then start carrying your own weight. Every challenge you avoid is a chain that holds you. Every excuse you invent is a rock in your path. Break those chains. Smash those rocks. Turn your own suffering into fuel for the next level. Have you reached the point where every muscle burns, every breath hurts, every thought screams for you to stop? That's when the real battle begins. Most people quit now, but you're alone. And alone is where steel is forged. When your body wants to give up, your mind must scream louder. When everything feels impossible, that's exactly the moment you need to act. Because fatigue isn't the limit, it's the test. It's the point where you discover who you truly are. Every step you take despite the pain, every rep you complete despite exhaustion, every choice you make despite fear, it's shaping you. The world won't notice. The media won't applaud. No one will post about it. But the change happens anyway, in silence. You're learning not to depend on applause. You're learning that strength is built in the dark, away from curious eyes. The body tires, but the mind can expand. And in that expansion, you find true freedom. The point isn't just to endure pain, it's to embrace it. To use every moment of weakness as a weapon to transform yourself. Because every time you think you can't go on, you prove that you can. And that is power no one can take from you. Exhaustion isn't defeat. It's the proving ground where you stop being ordinary and become someone capable of anything. The body tires, but the mind can become limitless. Every pain you feel, every defeat you face, every failure that almost broke you, all of it is fuel to build absolute mastery over your own mind. Being the master of your mind isn't a talent. It's not luck. It's brutal, relentless practice. It's waking up when there's no reason, training when you don't feel like it, pushing on when everyone else quits. It's looking fear in the eye and saying, you don't control me. It's looking doubt in the eye and saying, I decide my path. When you control your mind, nothing external can break you. Criticism? Irrelevant. Pressure? Fuel. Suffering? A tool for construction. Every time pain arrives, you have a choice, yield or dominate. Yielding is easy. Dominating requires cold blood, patience, and courage to look inside yourself. Acknowledge every weakness and turn it into a weapon. In the silence of the early morning, when no one's watching, that's where you prove yourself. That's where discipline becomes identity. That's where character is forged. And when you emerge from that darkness, nothing seems impossible. The master of the mind relies on no one. No applause. No motivation. They create their own strength, their own path, their own world. And every obstacle is just another step to becoming the most powerful version of yourself. You've been conditioned to believe pain is something to be avoided. But the truth is, pain has always been the most honest teacher you've ever had. When everything's easy, you don't grow. When everything flows, you relax. But when the world starts crushing you, when life brings you to your knees, that's when transformation begins. Because pain isn't trying to destroy you, it's trying to wake you up. Every moment of suffering is a mirror. It shows you who you are when there's nothing left. It tears away the mask you wear for the world and reveals what's underneath, strength or fragility. And what you do in that moment defines everything. Pain isn't the enemy, escape is. Pain is the secret passage that leads from weakness to freedom. It's the process through which the ego dies and the spirit is reborn. You start realizing you don't need life to be easy. You need it to be real. You need it to challenge you, to test you, to break you, and teach you how to rebuild yourself with purpose. Pain is what separates dreamers from doers, the talkers from the executors, those who say someday from those who say now. If you can endure pain without running, without hiding, without quitting, you become untouchable, because nothing can control you anymore. You're no longer a hostage of circumstance. You've become the architect of your own evolution. So the next time the world pushes you down, smile, because that's the moment you're being shaped. Pain is not punishment, it's the path. There comes a moment when pain turns into power, when the silence of solitude becomes the sound of your own strength, and you realize that everything the world tried to use against you, every fall, every rejection, every failure, was just the forge where you became fireproof. You're no longer the person who started this journey. You no longer seek validation, need approval, or depend on motivation. You act because it's who you've become. Every scar is now a medal, every tear, a reminder that you survived what most couldn't. You've walked through hell and returned, and now you understand. Hell was never punishment. It was training. When the world tries to break you again, it'll realize it can't. Because what has already burned once no longer fears the fire. You've become something fear can't touch. You control your thoughts, your emotions, your destiny. And the most powerful part of it all, no one could give you this power. You earned it alone, through discipline, pain, and truth. Now you don't just endure. You lead, you inspire. You become the living example of what happens when someone refuses to be ordinary. People will look at you and say, "How does he do it? How can she take so much?" And the answer will be simple. You didn't run from pain, you transformed it. You rose from the ashes and became untouchable. The path never ends. Tomorrow you'll wake up and the world will test you again. Pain will still show up. Doubt will still whisper. But something has changed, and that changes everything. You're no longer the victim of your story. You're the author. You're no longer what the world tried to shape you into. You are what you decided to become. The war inside you never truly ends, and that's why you keep evolving. Every challenge is a reminder. Every fall is a lesson. Every victory is temporary. But the process, that's eternal. What brought you here wasn't luck. It was discipline. It was truth. It was the refusal to be weak, to settle, to stay ordinary. And now every time someone says you've changed, smile. Because change is what the strong do. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You've already proven it to yourself. And that's what makes you dangerous. Because the world doesn't know how to handle someone who has already won within. So keep going. Even tired, even silent, even alone, keep going. Pain shaped your strength. Discipline shaped your character. And now the fire inside you shapes your destiny. You became the person no one believed you could be. You became the living proof of the impossible. And remember, the war never ends. But you've already changed. You are no longer the same. You are the one who keeps going when everyone else stops. You are the proof of what happens when someone decides to never go back. If this message woke something inside you, don't let it die here. Follow the shifted self. This channel is for those who chose pain as the path and truth as the weapon. You're not alone in this war, but only those who keep going evolve.